power to go out of your hands. And that is why you can say and do every kind of thing.
You know, if you ask me, I think it's going to set a very good precedent. I'll give you some kind of a historical background of this. In this country, a Sports Act was being introduced during the time of the UPA when Mr. Ajay Maken was the Sports Minister. He introduced a bill. The bill wanted to introduce and get it passed, which was designed to do the same things which Justice Lodha had recommended. The bill was brought before the cabinet, ministers in the cabinet and also outside the cabinet in the opposition, the MPs. They were all hand in gloves. They opposed it tooth and nail and the bill was shelved. There were several attempts made to revive that bill. It didn't come through. Now when the Supreme Court judgment has come and the biggest and the fattest cat of all the cats has been bailed, the other cats would know that they also have to be bailed. So the biggest cat which was out of the bag is perhaps going back into the bag and all other cats will have to follow suit. So that way it is a good precedence because you see, you try to look at it in this manner that any sports management, whether it is a politician, I fully agree with him. N.K.P. Salve was a minister in Indira Gandhi's cabinet. When he became BCCI president, he went and told the Prime Minister, look, I cannot hold both the charges, so I am relinquishing one. Those were the standards set by politicians who ran cricket. And so was Mother Rao Scindia. And there were several others who set very, very good precedents. Now, here, if you get into this only because you are holding the fat purse and you don't want others to have a look at it, and you want to run the show the way you like and cover it up by saying we are an autonomous body, number one, and number two, we have run cricket very well. Look how well India is doing in cricket, and therefore, if you are trying to do something, it's not done. This is their argument, that after all, how can you say that we have failed in delivering when we have been instrumental and successful in bringing cricket to the level that it is. That has been their argument.
But
but it has been all this, this fiefdom that they had established. That is where the Constitution gets completely undermined. And therefore, there was the need for this change, which Supreme Court had to intervene and understand and realize, and then throw the thing open. You see, I'll just give you an example. Supreme Court asked the BCCI during the hearing in the last 6 months to identify people in whom they believed as the people to carry out the transition from the way they are running the show now to the way they ought to be run. You know what they did? They refused. Now, look at another cover-up. How shameful, as he said. I didn't want to use the strong words, but this cover-up is a shameful act, where Supreme Court said, you have to get it implemented. The President and Secretary, they say, look, one of us proposed, the other seconded, the state associations declined. So what do? We tried our best. They are not changing. Now, do you think any state association of this country has the power to say no to the BCCI? And the outgoing ICC, the current ICC chief, he is a man with a clean record. And he says that he was approached for a letter to say which would have amounted to interference by the government and would have thus stopped the government and the Supreme Court from introducing this clause whereby a CAG's nominee was going to be one of the nominees of the CAG was going to be on the board, for which he has been charged with perjury.
But Mr. Nirav, do you think that rooting out the corrupt here will end all kinds of corruption in the system?
It may not end all kinds of corruption,
but
it would end some kinds of corruption.
What will be its impact on the cricket?
Nothing. The cricket in this country is loved by its people. The people have treated cricket as their religion. They love their players. The players are not going to get affected by this. The former players are not going to get affected by this. You see, all that it is going to do is to allow an open field for everybody to enter the sports management, especially cricket management, give them a chance, an equal chance for anyone to come and try his luck. You see, today, for example, if you go for a theoretical kind of a situation, and speculative, not speculative, a theoretical, hypothetical situation, that suppose Anurag Thakur is that powerful that even after being removed, he wants to control it, he will create a dummy of his. But these dummies have not succeeded. Dalmia Sahab wanted to create a dummy, so he brought in Mr. Bindra. Bindra became his opponent, number one. Now, Bindra Sahab wanted to create a dummy. He brought in Mr. Srinivasan. Srinivasan became his enemy, number one. Now, here in this power game, just because you brought somebody there doesn't mean that he will continue to act under your, for all you know, Shalini, you take it from me, from tomorrow the staunchest of the supporters of Mr. Thakur will start saying, Acha yuva. Not bad. This man has been playing havoc with all of us. He had no business to enter into a direct kind of a confrontation with Supreme Court of India. It was totally undesirable. This is what is going to this.
But I would like to ask you, Mr. Khemka, since now the Committee of Administrators will have to look at the BCCI's functioning, and important is these administrators too, as to who are going to be these administrators. How do you look at the point which maybe the other side would like to say that this is a court, it's extra activism, it's intervention and all that? And do you think that it can be defended, because after all it's about ensuring that the rule of law prevails, ensuring that the law is also practiced and you see that it's implemented too?
See, Shalini, let us understand. No quarrel with the fact that courts should not run these kind of administrations. No quarrel that courts should not have even interfered. But look at it, from where did it start? It started with a clear-cut proof of conflict of interest. When the courts saw that in spite of there being clear-cut conflict of interest, in spite of the fact that clear-cut conflict of interest is leading to crime, betting syndicates being assisted. Now that was the trigger when the court had to say that, okay, enough is enough. And also look at the fact that at the same time, the bill was not allowed to be introduced in the parliament. So the courts could see that these are the people running these sports bodies. These are the people who don't want a law in the parliament. And these are the people who are involving in illegal and immoral acts. How could the Supreme Court keep itself back? All that talk of discipline, judicial discipline, if there is a blatant thing going on in front of the Supreme Court, and if Supreme Court does not do anything, then what the people of this country will do? So this is the trigger. Nobody is saying that the court should administer.
Not even the court.
Not even the court. Court has given 6 months to you.
Right.
And even now they said, Mr. Sibal, you tell us whom you want as administrators, as observers rather. They did not use the word administrator. They said as observers. So you will still run the administration. And they will only observe. They will see to it that you actually follow the law.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
all.
Yeah,
and one more thing. You see,